The ideologues within the government refer to people like me, and not just to me, but people like Colin Powell and Admiral Scowcroft, moderate Republicans, as lesser political mortals. Because we are trapped, I'm not making this up, this is what the book said, we are trapped in the, quote, reality-based world. And what they mean by that is we have insufficient appreciation of our status as an empire. With all this power we have. And when you have power, you can change reality. And then when it doesn't work, like in Iraq, you have to deny. And I tell people, you know, I grew up in an alcoholic home. I spent my entire youth trying to get into the reality-based world. I like it here. I think that's where good things happen. I think that's where we raise our children and where we prepare for the future. And where we believe there's a consequence and a connection between actions and results. That is the environment into which this good man has brought his candidacy. You are riding a wave in America. But all across the country, just like in this district where you have rural areas, small towns, suburbs, you've got very wealthy people, you have a lot of middle-class people, you have the working poor. You got everything in this district. The decisive margin between victory and defeat is now comprised of a group of people who know they ought to vote for change, but they've never done it before. And they're scared. I said, you know, basically the balance of power in 24 or more House races and in at least 4 or 5 Senate races is now in the hands of Americans who desperately want to change, who are sick of all this partisan gridlock, angry at all this attack politics and the denial of evidence. But we're asking them to do something they have never done before. Just like when you first learned to swim, it was still scary when you got up on a diving board for the first time. That's really the psychological state of play here. So Karl Rove still thinks they can prevail. He thinks they can beat people like John Hall by doing 2 things. First of all, by doing a better job than we do in getting their base voters out to vote and making it as hard for ours to vote as possible where that's an option. And secondly, by getting all these people standing on the diving board to be afraid and to stop thinking, to lose heart and mind. I mean, if you really listen to their campaign, it comes down to something like this. As near as I can figure, this is their campaign. Here's their message. Okay, so we messed up. I mean, Iraq's not going well, and we probably shouldn't have put that guy that ran a horse show association in charge of FEMA right before Katrina. And we do have more people regulating agencies that came right out of the industries that are regulating than ever before and go back and make a ton of money. And we made that Medicare drug bill too expensive and too complicated because we had to give a lot of money to the interest groups instead of the seniors. And maybe we shouldn't have raised our pay 6 times while refusing to raise the minimum wage. And it does look kind of funny that we said we couldn't afford to implement the 9/11 Commission recommendations, so we cut college aid with college tuition going through the roof. But our #1 priority was giving 10,000 families more estate tax relief, far less than 1% of the people. We messed up, but you still have to vote for us. Because if you vote for those terrible Democrats, they will tax you into the poorhouse. And as you're going, you will meet a terrorist on every street corner. And when you try to run away, you'll trip over an illegal immigrant. You got to vote for us. I mean, isn't that it? That's their whole deal, right? I mean, so I'm telling you we're better than that.